Should you build W? Short answer, yes. Long answer, this entire video.
Sarkaz の傭兵 W よ。本当にお久しぶりね。
W is a limited 6-star artilleryman from Kazdel, a Sarkaz mercenary who loves sarcasm. She also once worked together with Rhodes Island predecessor Babel. And after defecting from Reunion, she signed a strategic cooperation with Rhodes Island. After negotiating with Calci in person. W is the first 6-star artilleryman or AoE sniper in the game, and also a limited one. Can this Sarkaz mercenary offers a useful utility in your team? Let's find out. As an artilleryman, W has a long range, and her attack deals an AoE physical damage, making them a very useful unit to hit multiple enemies from further away. As for her general stats, as an artillery sniper and also the 6-star rarity, W has a high attack, but this archetype is also the sniper with slowest attack speed, making their overall DPS lower than most sniper archetype, unless if they can keep attacking multiple enemies. Also they have a high DP cost, though nowadays it shouldn't be a problem, unless your DP generation is being restricted, or need to deploy them early. As for her talents, 10 seconds after deployment, she will obtain physical and arts dodge, and is less likely to be targeted. Pretty much it's a good talent to avoid being attacked. In some bizarre strategy, she can become a bait in your team. But it's still risky to use her as a bait even with all that dodge, since she only has a small amount of defensive stats. And keep in mind she will need 10 seconds before the talent take effect. As for her second talent, enemies in her range take more physical damage when stunned. A very good talent that works well with her skills, since all of W skills can cause stun effect to the enemy. And other operators can also stun enemies in her range and then deal more damage. Overall a very helpful ability after her E2, both for herself and others. And this is her potentials upgrade list. Overall a decent upgrade, but not necessary to get. And this is her module upgrade that should be available in Guiding Ahead event. She will deal critical damage to enemies that are blocked, and increase her HP and attack attributes. Overall a decent upgrade to increase her damage. W most used skill 3 encourage you to gather multiple enemies, and destroy them in one go. And blocking them is the most efficient way to do that. So if that module ever come to global, it will be an A or S tier to unlock. Now moving to her skills. Her first skill immediately launches a grenade that deal massive damage, and stun the target. A good first skill if I must say, but nothing extraordinary. For a single attack skill, this one got a pretty long charge time. And it's better to use her other skills if you already promote her. And her second skill. When the skill reaches its SP requirement, W will place a mine in her range, dealing high physical AoE damage, and stun them for some time. Her mine placement is random if there's no enemy in her range. But if there is one, her mine should be placed on the target tile. Overall a great skill with high damage and stun. If there's a downtime between enemy waves, she can cover a large area, stun enemies repeatedly. But this skill got its own little problem. First of all it will take around 1.5 seconds to explode. So if the enemy is fast enough, they can run past the mine before it explode. Or, if there's two mines placed near each other, some enemy can walk past the first mine, and trigger the second one. If the first mine can easily kill them, then triggering the second mine is a waste. And yes, the mine can't be triggered by aerial unit, or hit aerial unit even if it got triggered by something else. But overall it's just a minor drawback that you can manage. With consistent damage and stun, also cheap SP cost, this skill can be one of W main skill. Last but not least, her third skill. Place a bomb to some enemies within range, prioritizing the one with highest HP. There will be a 3 seconds delay, and then everything goes boom. Dealing massive AoE physical damage, and then stun the target for some time. You can use this to take care of large mobs of enemies. Stacking up the bomb in one tile, dealing 3 or 4 times the damage. Overall, this is a great skill to deal with crowded enemies, or even scattered groups of enemies in a different lane. And this skill also works best with her module as I mentioned earlier. But the two drawbacks of this skill is that W will target enemies with the highest HP, which sometimes makes targeting enemies a bit awkward, though you can easily overcome this with a good positioning. And the second drawback is that the skill got a pretty high SP cost without mastery. But surely you can manage it with a precise skill timing. But overall, this skill offers a high burst of AoE damage and stun that you can't simply ignore. For skill masteries, W got 2 skills that are worthy to master, though I recommend her skill 3 more because of the high burst damage it offers. But if you guys being cheap, you can just M1 her skill 3 to increase the amount of bomb to 4. And if you want a more consistent damage and stun, go for her skill 2 and M3 it. As for her base skills, increase mastery training speed for sniper operator by 30%. If training for mastery 3, increase it to 65%. But welp, her skill 2 will increase her moral reduction by 1 when training for M3. So, will W become a good operator for your team? A sniper that can annihilate big group of enemies and give consistent stun. Although this archetype tend to be overlooked because of their slow attack speed. But with W kit and a bit of strategy, she can offer a massive burst of DPS that can be useful for your team. Not to mention she has a consistent stun coming from her skills. And guess who is the other limited that also benefits from stun? She can be a great unit for veteran players with her stun and burst damage. And also useful unit for newbie when dealing multiple enemies. Overall, she's a strong character both in gameplay and story, not to mention she's limited. There's absolutely zero reasons to not build her. Currently she's available in Nearlter limited banner as a rate-off character, or from Spark Shop, but you will need 300 pulls to buy her. And remember folks, if investment is your thing, buy her epic skin before the price increase to 24 PO in the future event. That should be all. Bang.